The thing keeps falling down. Okay, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and are we live completely? Okay, the delay. All right, waiting for the ushers to seat the live audience. Come on, ushers, bring the people down. I think the ushers are back there smoking wacky tobacco or something. Well, they brought Ron down. Okay. They got Ron seated in the front row. And, they got Kathy seated in the front row. Come on, ushers. There's got to be more people in the back of the studio waiting for a seat. And Ron, he ducked into the air conditioning because it's 109 degrees. Okay, they got Kathy. All right. So they got Ron in the middle, Kathy on one side, Linda on the other. The basement storeroom of station WDWL TV. With great anticipation, we bring you the pride of the station. Oh, me, the grumpy old man, and asshole still on strike, and no paycheck. Oh. So, since Ron is out there roasting at 109 degrees, how's everybody else doing? Goddamn microphone sounds funny today. I don't know why it sounds so... Sounds like I'm talking in the bottom of a wastebasket. I found out some interesting information today. Very interesting information. I have been seeing commercials on local TV and on internet TV. You know, watching my different channels on my Roku TV for Dean's Chip Dip. Now, believe me, Lawson's is number one, but Dean's has a creamy dill dip, which I would love to try. Now, it doesn't exist. Well, the dip exists. It don't exist in Ohio. You will not find a Dean's creamy dill dip anywhere in Ohio. The only place you will find Dean's French onion is at the Bullseye store. They do not carry any other Dean's product, including milk. I discovered today, because at one time my Mark's stores carried Dean's, Giant Eagle carried Dean's, and Target carried Dean's. Full line. Milk, cottage cheese, sour cream, dip. So, in my quest to find Dean's creamy dill dip, I called Dean's corporate. And asked why I'm seeing all these ads on TV wanting to try their product and it doesn't exist. Well, it's a money game. And the reason you will not find Dean's at Mark's, Giant Eagle, or the Bullseye store is because other dip companies are paying more for the shelf space. We no longer see Dean's at Mark's because Daisy pays more for the shelf space. We no longer find Dean's at Gigantic Eaglet because Daisy pays more for the shelf space. And we no longer find Dean's at the Bullseye store except for the French onion dip because Jimmy's pays more for the shelf space. So, I asked the wonderful gentleman at Dean's Corporate where I could obtain a product I wish to try, the creamy dill dip. And the closest store is in Traverse City, Michigan. Not worth a drive for a carton of dip. So Dean's has literally been bought out of shelf space in northeastern Ohio. Now, they do carry some Dean's products at Kroger's in Columbus. I'm not going to drive an hour and a half for a carton of dip. So needless to say, Grumpy will not be able to taste the Dean's dill dip. It's sad. And I told the guy from Dean's, I said, I would love to purchase your product. And his response was, we would love to sell you our product. Unfortunately, we have been bought off of the shelf space. Oh, Ron, yeah. If I want to get 24, they'll gladly ship it to me overnight. Gladly. Pack it in dry ice, overnight it. I don't think I could eat it that fast. Not to mention, even though I like dill, what if I didn't like it? I'm stuck. Oh, Linda, that was my go-to. If I couldn't get my Lawsons, I went when they were carrying it and got Dean's. If I couldn't get Dean's, I got Hell of a Good. So needless to say, after I got off the phone, I drove up to Round Letter, also known as Circle K, and got 2 more Lawson's Chip Dip large. Large. I'm repeating that for Kathy. Large. Oh. Now it's 111. Holy baked pierogies. You guys are, I bet you're going to go 30 days, triple digits. Just saying. And Linda's under severe. Linda, you can't win. You can't win. Ball game canceled again. You can't win either, Kathy. And I can't win because on the way home from Round Letter, also known as Circle K, the whole exhaust system fell off the shitbox. It couldn't wait another week for the rest of the parts to get here. I'm driving along. I was like, oh, I like that sound. Then I looked in the mirror, and my whole exhaust system was behind me in the street. Can't win. I like the sound, though. It sounds like a NASCAR truck. That's all right. I don't give a fuck. I'll drive it that way. Cleveland hasn't cited anybody for loud mufflers in probably 30 years. Or loud stereos. Oh, yeah. Whole system. It's been getting loud. So I ordered everything I needed. Unfortunately, the rest of it won't be here until early next week. Yeah, I hit a pothole that I tried to avoid, and I'm going from I was like, that's me? Then I looked in the mirror and I went, yep, that's me. Jump out of the truck, go to pick the exhaust system up. Whoa! Go back to the truck, get gloves, pick up a hot exhaust system, throw it in the bed. I don't care. Like I say, I could probably drive it this way forever. Cleveland don't give a shit. But I have to go into Parma. Parma would hear me as soon as I cross the line into the city. And then it would be whoop, 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 whoop. So, it couldn't wait another week. All right, Linda, if you got to bug out, go ahead. Be safe, not sorry. Yeah, if you got to head for the hills, be my guest. Round up the cattle. Okay, we got the first bitch fit out of the way, trying to locate Dean's Creamy Dill Dip. I go online and I gargle where to find Dean's Dill Dip, Cleveland. And it tells me the Bullseye Store. I don't want to drive to the Bullseye Store for two reasons. One, I fucking hate the Bullseye Store. And for two, if they don't have any dip, I just wasted my time. So, what do? Like what we did back in the day. I picked up the phone and attempted to call the store on 117th. As everybody knows, no live person picks up a telephone. So, push 1, 2, 3, 4. You wait for the menu, and it says food and dairy, press 4. It rang 20 times and disconnected. I hit recall. Phone answers. I hit 4. It rings 20 times and disconnects. Try 3. Hit 4. It rings 20 times and disconnects. Next call. I hit 2 for service. It rang 20 times and disconnected. Now I'm on call 6. I hit 2 for service desk. It rang 20 times and disconnected. Screw it. Between the light and the, I don't know. So, call 6. It rang 19 times, and finally, someone answered. Service desk, can I help you? I said, yes. I'm attempting to reach the dairy department. Let me transfer you. It rang 15 times and rotored back to the service desk. Only one girl answering the phone's the service desk, and I recognized the voice, and I said, they didn't answer. Let me try transferring you again, and I will page this time. So, she transfers me back. It rings 15 times and rotors back to the service desk. She picked up and immediately went, as I was paging, the manager stepped over my page. Let me try it once more. She transfers me to dairy, and I don't know what happened to the page, but it rang 15 times and rotored back to the service desk. Evening, Wyatt. How you doing? So, since nobody decides to pick up in the dairy department, she suggests I call the Fairview store. I don't want the Fairview store. But I called the Fairview store anyway. So when the auto answer comes on, I hit 2 for the service desk. It rang 20 times and disconnected. I call back. This time, I listen to the menu, and it says, for HR, press 7. I pressed 7. Rang 20 times and disconnected. Callback number 3 at the Fairview store. This time, I hit pharmacy. Now, pharmacy is not part of the Bullseye store. It's CVS. I'm taking a chance. The pharmacy answers within 3 rings. So I explained to the pharmacy tech that I am attempting to reach the dairy department. The girl says, "Hold on, I'll transfer." Oh. It rang 20 times and rotored to the service desk. The service desk answered, and I said, "I'm attempting to reach the dairy department." Hold on. 15 rings later, it rotored back to the service desk. The service desk girl answered, and I said, "Forget it. Forget it." So, I gargled the Bullseye Store corporate phone number in Minneapolis. I called corporate. I got an Asian-speaking woman with an accent so thick I could not understand her. I hung up. I called back and pushed another department. That department answered, and the male had such a thick foreign accent, I could not understand him. So I hung up. And I called back a third time. And finally got someone who spoke somewhat understandable English. I thought I called Minneapolis. I must have called Asia. I attempted to register a complaint about you have stores full of phones that no one answers. The lady says, "Can you explain?" I said, "Oh, gladly." I said, "You got time to listen?" And I went down every department, the 60 rings, the 70 rings, the 80 rings, and nobody answering. Then when someone finally answered, they told me to call another store. And the girl goes, "They did what?" I said, "Yes, instead of attempting to answer my question, I was told to call another store." Calling the other store was as bad as calling the first store because nobody answers your goddamn phones. Sir, there's no need for that language. I said, "Miss or Mrs. or Ms. You're lucky I'm controlling myself. Because if you were male, you would have got exactly what's on my mind in plain English. I said, it's bad enough I call your corporate office and I can't understand any employees because evidently you don't hire Americans. Click. Hello? Hello? I got hung up on. So I called back. And when I finally got somebody to answer, I said, I would like to speak to the CEO. Who are you? John Q. Public Citizen. That's who I am. I don't think that's your real name. Put me through to someone higher than you. I'll hold. Well, I ended up with the assistant to the assistant of the vice president of sales and the marketing. And when he asked me how he could help me, I said, fasten the seatbelt in your lazy boy desk chair and lean back because I got a mouthful for you. And believe me, I was not polite. I was told they are going to look in to my complaint. I know where my complaint went when I hung up. Wastebasket. I've been labeled a lunatic, probably. We'll see what kind of email I get. Because I was asked to give my email address. This is what we put up with. Why do they bother putting fucking telephones in stores if nobody answers them? Nobody. The last time I was in Target, every goddamn employee had a phone. An in-store phone. Not their cell phone. Evidently, they all shut the ringers off. Or they're waiting to see which asshole's going to actually answer. Hey, Peace, how are you? Yeah. I don't know why they issue telephones to employees. Nobody fucking answers. I felt sorry for the girl at the service desk that attempted to put me through 3 different times. And I said, evidently, you are the only employee working in the store. And she said, what do you mean? I said, because you're the only employee that answered the phone. And then to call Target's corporate office in Minneapolis And the first three people you talk to have accents so thick you can't understand them. Do we hire Americans anymore? Evidently not. And all of you out there know I go to the top. If I can't get a problem rectified, like my bread problem, which still to this day has massive loaves of Schwabel's Jewish rye sitting in every Marx store. But after I got screwed around with the Ohio crew, I called Schwabel's corporate. But since I don't shop at the Bullseye store, I really could give a shit if I ever hear back. But don't ever attempt to call a store, because no one will fucking answer. Two different stores. Well, you know, Kathy, ever since the invention of the auto answer, it's just a system to aggravate the fuck out of you so you don't call back. Because back in the day when you called a department store, a live person answered and transferred you to another live person. Not anymore. Push 1, push 2, push 6, push 9. And it don't do any good, because no matter what fucking button you push, nobody answers. Even HR. I couldn't believe it. I pushed 7 for HR. Rang 20 times and hung up on me. Hey, Mrs. M, how are ya? This is what corporate America is coming to. It's obvious they really don't need to spend money to have their phones installed in stores and pay for all that wiring and all the extensions, because nobody answers them. Yeah. 20 rings, disconnects. I sat there and counted. 20 rings and disconnects. I didn't do any better with Walmart or Gigantic Eaglet, because it showed Dean's products at Walmart, Gigantic Eaglet, Target, Marx, which I already knew Marx didn't carry it because I've been to Marx. And the Dean section is taken over by Daisy. No Dean's milk. So I already knew not to call Mark's. But calling Walmart, I even got to the point of pushing one for electronics. And you would think somebody in electronics would like to want to sell a TV. Nope. Every department. Deli? Nope. Bakery? Nope. Grocery? Nope. Dairy? Nope. Service desk? Nope. And I know Walmart, everybody gets a telephone. When you come into work, you're issued a telephone. They must all be on mute. Because nobody answered. I had half a notion to drive to the store and call and walk around to see how many phones were ringing in employees' pockets. And then going, do you ever answer that? Oh, not my department. There were no maintenance numbers. Believe me, I called every department. Like I say, I figured somebody in HR would answer. Hell, it was 3:30. Somebody should have still been there. Nope. HR didn't answer. Clothing, furniture, electronics, deli, bakery. No matter what fucking number you pushed, nobody answered. All right, Mrs. M, thanks for stopping in and saying hi. Have a good evening. Kathy, I even called receiving. Now, I figured at least receiving would answer because they have trucks coming in and out, and you would think that they would answer for a trucker calling in. Even receiving didn't answer. And it was 3 o'clock. And I'll tell you, with Target, the more I got jerked around, the more pissed off I got. And I could probably guarantee that assistant to the assistant probably put the phone down on the desk and read the newspaper or Googled something or played Candy Crush, listening to see if I stopped bitching yet. Now, I have nothing against immigrants. I do have a problem with immigrants that don't know how to speak English. But it's getting like that no matter who you call. I call AOL if I need a problem solved. I'll call back 3, 4, 5 times until I get somebody I can somewhat understand. Well, it's obvious they got the ringer turned off. And the girl at the service desk was paging dairy department, call online, whatever, dairy department. Is nobody, no, because everybody's got their ear pods in listening to the music. Customer service no longer exists. The only thing they care about is your fucking money. But how can you spend your money if you can't find out if they have a product you want to buy? Easy. I was not going to drive up to a store to walk in and find out they don't even carry it. Had they carried it, I guarantee I would have gone up and bought at least 6. But instead, Circle K got my money for 2 large Lawson's chip dip. And I got the last 2 large. Again, I lucked out. I mean, I prefer my Lawson's dip. I also like dill. And I wanted to try Dean's creamy dill dip. Because Dean's no longer has shelf space in any store. Well, I know the whole store doesn't change shifts at once. I would think they would stagger. No, I didn't, Ron, not yet. I should have. I should have done that today, and then I wouldn't have got so fucking aggravated. My blood pressure would have gone right off the roof looking for Dean's creamy dill dip. Yeah, everything is out in the cupboard. The cans of clams, the sour cream is. It's still good. I checked. It's not expired. I mean, there would be no way a department store could have everybody in the store change shifts at 3 o'clock. First of all, it would be mass pandemonium with everybody running out of the store. I can't believe at 3 o'clock HR didn't answer. Yeah, HR. I could have been a prospective employee going, I'd like to fill out an application and come work for you because you're such a wonderful store. Couldn't even get HR to answer. Not one department. Not one. You know, the only place I call that I get a live person is when I call Spectrum. The phone rings and it will say press 1 for customer service or 2 for technical support. Either one you press, it rings maybe 3 times and a live person picks up. You don't have to yell. You don't have to know a secret code word. You press 1 or 2. Every time I call Spectrum, I compliment the shit out of them. Because I don't need to know a secret code word. I don't have to press 1, 9, 47, 62, 911. And they're always so pleasant. But I just proved if you call a department store, they don't want to fucking talk to you. What made it even more enough to piss me off, I couldn't get an answer in auto service. I would have been really pissed if I was calling to check on my car and nobody answered. Walmart, I called 3 different stores. I couldn't get answers nowhere. Target, 2 different stores. When I finally got the girl at the service desk, I felt sorry for her because every time she paged and transferred me back to Derry, the call came back to her. Then to call the corporate office, and not be able to understand anyone? Americans don't want to work anymore? Is that what it is?
I would have been afraid to take my blood pressure because I could feel the veins in my head and my neck.
Kathy, you know what it was like back in the day. If you called the store, maybe 3, 4 rings, but a live person answered the phone. I couldn't get an answer online. It showed me, okay, all Giant Eagle, Walmart, Target, all carrying Dean's products. Here's another problem. Nobody updates their websites. Because if they would have updated their website, it wouldn't show Dean's products in their stores. So the internet is worthless if you don't update your website. Because all three, Walmart, Giant Eagle, Target, all showed Dean's Dill Dip in stock. Giant Eagle told me they haven't had Dean's in over a year. I said, well, it's on the website, in stock. And the guy told me, I don't believe that. I said, you have a smartphone? He said, oh, yeah. Is it on you? Yeah. I'll hold while you gargle it. And after about 3 minutes, he come back and said, holy shit. I said, correct. In stock, right? He said, yeah. You haven't carried it in over a year? Yeah. It's in stock. Here's an employee that had no idea it was still showing Dean's in stock. And it's been gone for a year. No Dean's dip, no Dean's sour cream, no Dean's cottage cheese, no Dean's dairy products, no milk, no half and half, no cream, nothing. But it's in stock. Had I driven down to that store to find out that it's been gone for a year, I would have gone berserk in that store. So what the hell good is it having a website if your website isn't true? you have a product that you have not physically carried in over a year, and your website site says in stock. What's the IT department doing? What's the IT department doing? Playing Grand Theft Auto? They're sure as hell not updating their website. Oh, Linda, it scares me. It scares me to think how much worse it's going to get. But you know, all these stores keep telling you, buy online, check our website, save yourself a trip to the store. What the hell good does it do you when they don't even update their website? And it's amazing they can put up their weekly sale ads. They don't bother to check the rest of the website to see, oh, gee, we don't carry that product. Well, we don't carry that product. We don't carry that product. I might just call Dean's corporate tomorrow. I have the fellow's name and number that gave me the information, and explain what I went through and see if maybe he'll ship me some for free. Especially if I beg and tell him, boy, I really, 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 want to try your product. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when he said, well, the closest to you is Traverse City, Michigan. Not too close. They've literally been forced out because they didn't want to pay. And that's what it is, a bidding war for shelf space. So the CEOs can make more money. Yeah, they literally have been bought out. At Mark's, Daisy is paying the higher price for shelf space because Mark's is carrying all Daisy. Daisy dip, Daisy sour cream, Daisy cottage cheese. I know. I have tried the Daisy French onion dip. It would be my number 3 go-to if I couldn't get my Lawson's dip. That's how I knew Mark's didn't carry Dean's anymore, because I knew exactly where it was on the shelves. And it's all Daisy. Whoever Daisy is. I don't know if it's Daisy Dairy, but it's Daisy. Along with Hell of a Good. So Daisy and Hell of a Good are paying the big bucks for the shelf space. No, they didn't have no Daisy Duke on. They sour cream, chip dip. I guess I'm going to have to gargle Daisy and see what corporation they fall under. Maybe there is a Daisy Dairy. I don't know. All I know is they are paying the bigger price for the little sections of shelving now. It makes sense. It's not the supplier. It's the cost of the shelf space. The supplier has the product. If the supplier don't want to pay, they don't carry the product, and they blame it on the supplier. Oh, the supplier, that we can't get it from the supplier. Oh, they could get it if the supplier will pay that bribery money. And that's basically what it is, bribery money. That's what it's come down to. So when you go in a store and you can't find a product anymore, and they tell you, oh, we can't get that anymore. No, they could get it. It's that the corporation doesn't want to pay that high price for shelf space. That's why when you go in to your local store and you go back to the beverage section, you will see 30 feet of Coke products and 30 feet of Pepsi products and 5 feet of RC Cola, which I used to drink all the time. RC Cola don't want to pay that big price, so they get 5 feet. Coke gets 30, Pepsi gets 30, RC gets 5 feet. Okay, they have their own family dairy, all right. Well, they got the money to pay for the shelf space too, because they have forced Dean's off the shelf. Now, I would tend to think RC Cola is nationwide. I might be wrong. But I have noticed at Mark's and Giant Eagle, they only get 5 feet. And as far as the eye can see is Coke, and as far as the eye can see is Pepsi. It's amazing RC Cola has hung on all these years. I think maybe I should start drinking RC Cola again to support them instead of Coke and Pepsi, because I trade off. Sometimes I'll buy some Coke if it's on sale. Sometimes I'll buy Pepsi. I think I'll just start buying RC and support the little guy. Also, if you ever watch Jay Leno's Garage, you will see he has a huge pop cooler of RC Cola. Every now and then when he does his restoration update blog and he walks through the garage, you'll catch a glimpse of the big, huge RC Cola cooler full of product. Because Jay Leno supports RC Cola. Well, that's because Dean's will pay the price down. It probably, they probably make more profit down south than they do up north. But they're all paying for shelf space. Of course, if the product sells, they buy more shelf space. Oh no, Linda, you rarely see any ad for RC Cola anymore. But they're hanging on. I haven't seen RC Cola advertisements since probably the late 60s, maybe the early 70s. But they're hanging on. How do they do it without advertisement? Customer loyalty, which I need to be a loyal customer again. I drank RC, God, for fucking years. I don't know why I switched to Coke or Pepsi. I really don't. Think. When was the last time you saw an ad for RC Cola in a magazine, on TV, heard a commercial on the radio? How do they survive without advertising? Oh, they never disappeared here. Maybe around you, but no. Our stores have had RC Cola forever. Because I have, over the years, noticed the shelf space decreasing. Next time you're in your grocery store, walk down the pop aisle. And look. At Mark's, RC Cola is limited to end caps. Two. Side by side. You look down the aisle, Coke products. Oh, you turn around, you look the other direction, Pepsi. Here's RC with their little 5-foot end cap. I am going to start buying RC again. Just to support the little guy. Because I don't know how they do it. I used to see RC Cola ads in Reader's Digest all the time, in Auto Week and Motor Auto, all my auto magazines. Well, that explains why we have Daisy. But see how much shelf space RC Cola gets. Giant Eagle, 5 feet. Mark's, 2 end caps. And I haven't been in Walmart to see so how RC has got to be selling big somewhere. Whether it's the Midwest or out west or maybe Far East. Because with the competition they've got from Coke and Pepsi, they're making money somewhere. I don't know, maybe they're exporting it to Canada or Saudi Arabia. I don't know. But they have managed to hang on all these years. And you know damn right well, a 5-foot end cap, that ain't a lot of sale. But I have to go to Mark's tomorrow. So I will be buying me a 2-liter of RC Cola. And if it's cheap enough, I'll get 2. Just to support the little guy. Like I say, I don't know why I quit drinking it. I drank it 6, 7 years old. I always drank RC. Always. Now, see, I never looked at the pop section at Dollar General. Now, I know Dollar Tree carries it. I've seen it at Dollar Tree. I've never looked at Dollar General. But you know what? Not drinking it on a regular basis anymore, I don't really pay attention. But I have noticed how little shelf space they get. Because at Giant Eagle, they're right in the middle. Coke here, Pepsi here. Here's a little RC section in the middle. I don't know how they survive. I can remember back in the day, you'd see a RC sign on the side of a store, gas station. They used to advertise in Reader's Digest, Hot Rod Magazine, Auto Week. Every auto magazine I got, there would always be an RC ad. I haven't seen an RC ad since I finally parked my Tyrannosaurus Rex. But like I told the guy from Dean's, I said, you're running your commercials on our local stations, our Cleveland local stations, and we can't buy your product. That makes sense, Linda. That's where the money's coming from. Because they're probably making more money. They're probably charging a little more for their product because it's imported. I'm glad to see them still around. Matter of fact, I am going to buy at least a 2-liter tomorrow just to see if the taste is the same. Matter of fact, the guy from Dean's was shocked when I told him. I said, Channel 3, 5, 8, 43, they're all running Dean's dip commercials with try our new flavors, dill and Japolino. Well, that's great. That's great that they got their foot in the door. They probably are giving the pizza shops a deal. God love them. At least they have they have pockets where it sells. Now, the pizza shop that I go to, they carry Pepsi. Yeah. Well, that's everywhere, supply and demand. But it's more like we got the supply and we're going to demand a price. And you know what? With them being in the pizza shops, they got the perfect location. Because when you get pizza, you got to get pop. So RC come put their foot in the door and they said, "Hey, yeah, their marketing people worked a deal and they build up a nice pocket." But you don't see I haven't seen RC in fountains. You don't see it at McDonald's. You don't see it at Burger King. You don't see it at Wendy's. We've got that Dave's hot chicken up here. I'm going to try them once. And I'm going to see what they have for fountain pop. Although we only have one Dave's hot chicken so far. I guess they're dipping their toes in the Ohio water market here. Problem is, they're so far away from me. RC was really. I didn't know that. Diet RC was the first diet, huh? Oh. That could be another reason they have a real loyal following. Because once people start drinking diet pop, they don't switch. It's not like one week they'll Diet Pepsi and then the next week Diet Coke. Which I can't stand anything diet. Well, at least my blood pressure's gone down. Although, if I'm not getting wound up about something, yeah, but I don't know if Pepsi is bringing in the RC product. Now, it's possible for distribution that RC is contracting with Pepsi to ship their product to save money on trucks and because I believe RC is still a standalone I don't believe they sold out. I think they are a standalone pop producer. But they might be paying Pepsi to ship their product. Which is a little strange if you got your competition shipping your product, but it would save RC on truck fleet and everything to go along with it. Didn't I like this? While somebody is out there gargling, gargle RC Cola and see if it's still privately owned. Well, like I say, Linda, they may have a deal where they produce it and then Pepsi ships it for them. Because truck fleets are a big expense. And I haven't seen an RC Cola truck in ages. Because there used to be Pepsi, Coke, RC Cola. So RC might have worked a deal with Pepsi and say, hey, we'll gladly pay you to distribute our product. And that way they save money on that truck fleet and a maintenance garage and all that extra stuff that sucks the profit, you know. That's like you rarely see a Sunoco truck or a BP truck or a Shell truck. They pay a shipping company to ship their gas. Truck fleets are a huge expense. Really? Oh, okay. So they paired up with Keurig and Dr. Pepper. Very interesting. Very interesting. Now, that kind of makes sense. Because the last order I placed with Keurig Direct for my coffee pods, the shipping label said Keurig Dr. Pepper. The return address said Keurig Dr. Pepper. Me too, Linda. I got the single. I make 1 cup at a time. I buy my pods from Keurig Direct. Get a better deal, too. Go on eBay and put in Keurig Direct. In the store, you'll pay $13.99 for 12. I get 24 for $13.99 and shipped free UPS. Keurig Direct. And you can get Green Mountain Coffee off the Keurig Direct website. Yeah, when I got my delivery 2 weeks ago, I just happened to glance at the return address and it said Keurig Dr. Pepper. Oh, I love my Keurig machine. Oh. You know, these were the best idea they ever came out with. 1 cup, perfectly brewed, no wasted coffee. I don't even use my big pot anymore. Right here. My little pods. Didn't I like this? Unless I screw up and I don't pay attention to my inventory, I rarely buy my coffee pods in the store. Now, I tried this Victor Allen's because they were on sale. And it's good coffee. But I'm not going to pay store price. They just happened to have a special of 24 pods for $14.99, and I was out. But it was just a limited thing. I go on eBay, Keurig Direct, and it's amazing how many, the variety of coffee is unbelievable. but I get 24 for $13.99 and free shipping because I'm cheap, frugal. I like cheap better. But tomorrow, I will get some RC Cola. Just to support the little guy. Not to mention to see if it still tastes the same. Because I have not had RC in easily 30 years. And I don't know why I switched. My refrigerator always had RC. Always. And I don't know how Pepsi snuck in the door. Must have been a sale. That would be the only thing. You got the little single machine too, Linda? Let's see, I don't go to Walmart. I haven't been in Walmart in probably 20 years. When I get low on coffee, I just go on eBay, Keurig Direct, place my order, and 3 days max. That's all it takes to get it to me. Because it's shipped from somewhere on the East Coast. Matter of fact, hang on, I'll tell you. Tell you where they ship it from. Well, not so far east. Robbinsville, New Jersey. That's where Keurig Direct is located. Robbinsville, New Jersey. Oh, you can get hot chocolate too. I never knew there were so many varieties of hot chocolate. You can get regular hot chocolate or gourmet hot chocolate. Go in and look sometime. Keurig Direct, eBay. The website is huge with the varieties they have. Matter of fact, I ordered some hot chocolate. Every now and then, Grumpy likes to be a senior citizen and sit with his cup of hot chocolate, a rocking chair, shawl. Have to watch, make sure my cat's tail isn't underneath the rocker. Yeah. I'm going to remember tomorrow to bring in one of his SpongeBob SquarePants cat toys. Whenever he comes through the house, meowing like he's got a live mouse, he's got the SpongeBob SquarePants cat toy in his mouth. It's the only time he goes through the house meowing his ass off like he caught a live mouse. Because the last several nights I have paid attention, and I'll hear him coming through the house. Meow, 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 meow. And then he jumps up on the bed and drops his SpongeBob SquarePants cat toy on my chest. I don't know what the attraction is with that crackly thing with the feathers. I'll bring it in tomorrow and show you. It's the only cat toy he messes with out of about 200. My son spoils the shit out of his cat. Got every cat toy on earth. And good old Boots likes SpongeBob Crackly SquarePants. And he insists on bringing it in to me. I don't want SpongeBob Crackly SquarePants. Yeah, he'll be coming through the house. Meow, 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 meow. Maybe I'll get lucky and the rest of my exhaust parts will get here early. Although I don't care. I think it sounds cool. I just hope I have enough pipe that I can cob together an exhaust system. Because there'll no longer be a catalytic converter. That fell off. Oh, do you have the reusable pods like we've got? You buy them at, I can't remember, we got them at Dollar Tree or Dollar General. It came in a 3-pack. Reusable. Put your coffee in them, pop them in the machine, you get done, rinse them out, good to go. Yeah, reusable coffee pods. We got a shitload of them. I always keep a can of coffee just in case for an emergency. And the refillable coffee pods. They're not bad. They don't make the coffee strong enough for me. Although you just use a little less water, that's all. Or you can just put the hot chocolate in the cup and push the button and let the hot water. I don't drink that much hot chocolate, so I have a bunch of. I got half and half. I got milk chocolate and dark chocolate. I have to be in a mood for hot chocolate, mainly in the winter, or if I really can't sleep, I'll make a cup of hot chocolate, and it seems to. Although the rest of the week I have to be on my P's and Q's. I have to go for blood work next week. I haven't had blood work done in quite a while, I can imagine. Cholesterol probably through the roof. Although I know my sodium is good because my blood pressure's been really great. Yeah, me too, Kathy. Or like if I, come in from the cold in the evening, then I'll do me a hit of hot chocolate. As a matter of fact, I messaged the doctor today to find out if it's a regular or a fasting. I hate them fasting blood works. Blah. Because after midnight, I can't drink, my ginger ale, which I drink all night because of my dry mouth. I hate drinking just water. Well, I'm coming up on, yeah, me too. 6 months. I'm coming up on my semi-annual, but I can never remember if it's regular or fasting. And like I say, if it's a fasting, then I have to watch. Because all night long, I've got that cold mug of ginger ale. If I wake up and I, take a couple of slugs, I hate having a mug of water. Oh, everything's money, Kathy. Everything. That's why, like my doctor, he has to see a patient every 12 minutes. Money, money, money. Yeah, well, Linda, I'm a ginger ale snob. I like my Seagrams. They were out of Seagrams last week, and I got Canada Dry. Wasn't too impressed. I got hooked on Seagrams, and I love it. That's all I have. Now, if they don't have Seagrams, I'll get Schweppes. Because I drank Schweppes for years. And I actually got hooked on Seagrams by accident because the bottles look similar. And I wasn't paying attention. And I grabbed a 2 liter of Seagrams. And then when I got it home, I was like, oh. And I really like it. Not to mention, every now and then, Mark's will run a 4 for $1, 2 liters. Or 59 cents, limit 4. When's the last time you bought a 2 liter for 59 cents? Yeah, I can't do that no more. Although I used to drink real rot gut candy. I used to drink Kessler's whiskey. I don't even know if you can buy Kessler's anymore. Kessler's was always the bar whiskey, the cheap stuff. But since I can't imbibe like that anymore, yeah, Kessler's and ginger ale. I mean, makes me wonder about like that. Well, I Jack Daniels is all right. It's getting up there in price. Even though I don't drink anymore, every now and then I'll wander through the liquor store just to look at prices. Like my grandfather always used to drink Hennessy, Cognac. Last time I looked at a price of Hennessy Cognac, I almost had heart failure. And my grandfather's favorite was Hennessy Cognac and Ballantine Ale. And I don't even know if they make Ballantine anymore. Although, after Valentine sold out, they changed the beer formula and it don't taste the same. Or what do you take, a sip of Jack and a sip of ginger ale? That's the way my neighbor used to drink it. He'd pour about a juice glass of Jack. And he'd take a sip of Jack and a sip of ginger ale. Oh, okay. I can't do it straight anymore. My shooter days are over. Or my sipping days are over. Although my go-to Glenlivet Scotch, I loved Glenlivet Scotch. It's a single malt Scotch. Scotch on the rocks. I'd pour me one and sit and sip it. But my drinking days are definitely over with. I can't do it no more. Matter of fact, the other night, I finally drank my last Heineken that I had from the 6-pack I bought in January. And oh, did it taste good. I drank it with my pizza. But that was the last one I had in the fridge, too. Oh. Man, you're a two-fisted drinker. Oh, man. I'll tell you, there was a guy years ago when I would stop at the bar, when I was working at the hospital. I had an apartment over a bar. So I'd come home from work and I'd stop in, and mainly when they would have Pabst Blue Ribbon for $1, get a 22-ouncer on tap for $1. There was a guy I have never come across somebody as strange as this guy. He would drink, he'd order a shooter of black velvet. And a shooter of cider vinegar. And he downed the black velvet and downed the cider vinegar. I have never in my life seen anyone drink a shot of whiskey and wash it down with cider vinegar. I because he was sitting next to me one night, and I saw the girl pour the black velvet, and then I saw her come with a bottle of vinegar. And I looked at him and he goes, "Haven't you ever tried it?" No. I never. I don't know where that originated. No. Yeah, they recommend it for certain ailments. Drink cider vinegar every day. I used to drink pickle juice every day. I've never seen anybody do a shot of whiskey and wash it down with cider vinegar. And this guy would drink 5, 6, 7 shots a night. Where does that originate? That would be the last thing I would think of washing down a shooter of whiskey. Cider vinegar. He was going to buy me one. He goes, "I'll set you up." Nope. 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 Could be just not something I want to try. But he loved it. Well, that, Linda, and it don't mix well with your medication. Like with me. Alcohol don't mix well with my meds. Especially after my doctor told me, it could cause an overdose. I was like, whoa. As a matter of fact, when I told him every now and then I sneak a beer, he wrote a prescription for Narcan. He said, keep one of these around the house. Okay. It's in the medicine cabinet. So, like I say, that Heineken, oh, did it taste so good. Thank God there weren't 2 or 3. I drank it real slow. I savored every sip. Had my pizza, a little sip of beer. My pizza, a little sip of beer. Then when the beer was gone, I was like, oh. I didn't realize how much I missed my Heineken until I had the first sip. I was tempted to go buy 6 more. But I have to be a good boy. Mind my doctor. Not to mention be my lucky pull a random drug test and go, aha. You're drinking alcohol.
Yeah, can't have my Heineken. Can't have my poppy seed. Thank God I did. I was tempted at Easter to buy a poppy seed roll. Boy, I would like to see what my drug test would have looked like after I ate that whole thing. Oh. My doctor had thrown me out. Yeah, that beer tasted so good. Oh. I even went out and got my Heineken mug. I have a stoneware mug. I put it in the freezer. And then I pour my beer in it. And it keeps it nice and cold. Yeah, it's a heavy son of a bitch, too. That stoneware. It says Heineken on it. Well, last of the coffee. Oh, they used to be popular back in the Pilsner glasses. I think every household had Pilsner glasses back in the day. I know my father had them. He had a set of, I think, 8. I think he had 8 Pilsner. Yeah, everybody. That was the way to drink your beer back in the day. As a matter of fact, my grandfather, too. He always poured his Valentine in a Pilsner. But then, then came cans. And everybody gave the tradition up of using a Pilsner's. I remember one cupboard, all kinds of cocktail glasses. My father had glasses for every type of cocktail. Brandy snifters. If he was mixing a Manhattan, he had a special glass for it. Yeah, back in the day, everybody. Yeah, I remember the Pilsner's glasses. They were classy. It was a nice glass to see your beer in. It really was. Matter of fact, every bar had Pilsner glasses. As a matter of fact, the other night, watching A Killer in My Village, the one bar that they showed, the guy was pouring beer into Pilsner glasses. Carling. Because the glass said Carling on it, too. Because they pump their beer, too. They pump it out of the keg. It's not like the way we have it with the CO2. He was holding that glass, pumping it. But it was a Pilsner with Carling on it. And you looked across the bar, and that's all you saw was Pilsner glasses. They're still big in England. We don't use them here anymore. Everything went to mugs. Evidently, Pilsner glasses got too expensive after they got broken. But a beer looked classy in a Pilsner glass. It really did. Another tradition gone. I'm gonna look for some. Even though I don't drink beer that much, I'm gonna see if I can, like Goodwill or that, see if I can find me one or two. Maybe I can find me a Heineken Pilsner to go with my stoneware mug. Because I only need one, really. God, I remember my father had the cocktail shaker. Because he used to drink his martinis that way, shaken, not stirred. He makes himself a martini every now and then. Although, I do have a complete set of martini glasses. I showed them here one night. The ones I got from Parliament Cigarettes. With the nice big martini glass and the blue stem. And the pitcher. The fancy pitcher with the blue glass stirrer. I never had a martini. But I got the glasses. I could pour my Heineken beer in a martini glass. Look like an idiot. Well, peoples, I think it's about that time. And let's do the 1943 version, where Vera Lynn is singing with the troops. another fun night. And I'm glad you put up with me pitching a bitch. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night. And have a wonderful rest of your evening. Take care. See ya.